Hey everyone, Scott Hansen here from NFL Red Zone. I hope you're checking out 1 hour of 5 Yard Rush, one of the best podcasts on NFL football in the UK.
Yo, what's happening, Rush Nation? We're back. It's Thursday, second show of the week. And man, do we have a guest lined up for you. But before we get to today's guest, it's me and the big man. How you doing, fella?
I'm good, mate. I thought I was the guest today, but no.
No, you used that last week, Murf. That joke is dead. You can't use it again.
I feel like we should both come up with like a catchphrase or.
I've got one. It's at the beginning and end of the podcast.
Yeah. I mean, like, but that's like the group one. I think like we need like you should be like the fantasy sniper stocks.
All right.
Something like that, and I can be like the Maverick, Murf.
That's not original either. You've been using that for years.
Yeah, I know, but just a way of.
Is that a Top Gun reference?
No, it's a poker reference.
Okay, pray tell.
There's a film called Maverick, right?
But based on poker.
Well, no, it's based on South, but there's a big bit of poker in it. It's got Mel Gibson in it. Probably. It's a shame Blockbuster Video doesn't exist anymore, man. Because like you'd be their best customer. In fact, the whole reason Blockbuster's gone bust.
Absolute horseradish. No chance.
Well, listen, you've not seen Top Gun.
Yes.
You've not seen Maverick.
No.
Then what films do you watch? Like Bambi?
A classic. How dare you? No, there's plenty of other films I've seen. I mean, like Broken Arrow. That's a good one.
Is it? Oh, it's all right.
Snake Eyes. It's a good film.
No. It's one of the worst Nicolas Cage films.
Well, I didn't say it was a good Nicolas Cage film. I just... Gone in 60 Seconds is a good Nick Cage film.
It's fine.
Face Off is a good Nick Cage
Now you see, there you go. Now you found
Con
the good.
Air.
Yeah, see, these are the good Nick Cage films.
I didn't start with this is a good Nick Cage film. Look, we've got somehow we've managed to do it again, and we've dived way off topic. So
I feel like it's my weekly mission now, is to see how far in the weeds we can go before you have to bring it back into the show.
All right.
It's off season, man.
Yeah. So today you're not a chaise lounge, you are a Maverick.
Yeah.
Like the film Maverick.
Basically, I'm Maverick every week. Last week I just cameoed as a chaise lounge.
That's some cameo. Right. Okay. Enough spiel. Let's hit today's guest. Podcast and YouTube host for Rumboyz.net is Robbie Johnson. Robbie, welcome to 5 Yard Rush, buddy. How you doing?
It's been a long time coming. It is a pleasure. I am great. It is freezing cold, full of snow here in Colorado. But other than that, I'm good.
You a Denver fan?
I am not a Denver fan. I just live here.
That's the opposite to me. I don't live there, and I'm a Denver fan. Well, we've been there. That story's old news. Old news. So how cold is it, Robbie?
I don't even know how cold it is. It definitely feels like it's below zero, though.
So is that below 0 Fahrenheit? Your degrees, right?
Yeah.
That's real cold then, isn't it?
Oh, it's real cold and windy. Like the snow is blowing off the mountains into your face. Like it's just bad. Went to walk my dog earlier and I was like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Yeah, I was like, hurry up, poop, so we can go inside.
I mean, this is just a very general Google search that says that at the moment it's -3 degrees centigrade, which puts it at somewhere in the 20s.
Yeah, sounds fairly close. Yeah.
26.
Here, I got my phone right here. I'll look it up. It's 18 degrees exactly.
Oh, even colder. See,
I would absolutely love 18 degrees right now. Or 18 degrees, not yours.
Okay.
16 over the weekend.
No, it was not.
It was.
Where?
Here.
Not in here. It's freezing in here all the time.
I think you're always cold.
I am always cold. That's listen. Robbie's here to talk football, not weather.
Oh.
Let's get it.
So, Robbie, how did you get into football and talking about fantasy sports, man?
So I actually got into football growing up in a football household, watching football, playing football. And then as I got older, coaching football. Fantasy sports was just a way to stay connected. When I had pretty much like enlisted in the military, aside from playing on the base flag football team, wasn't really a whole way to stay connected with it. So fantasy football was there for me, and I was able to keep up. Of course, being deployed, you're not able to watch all the games, or even the games that you may want to watch. So Fantasy football gets you up close and personal to the action, makes you practically feel like you're there. And it's always nice when you can beat someone, rub it in their face, and get a little bit of their money at the same time.
100%.
Amen. All of that is very true.
Especially when you're on a base, right? Because you're with the boys, but it is quite isolated. You're really cut off from the world on a base.
Yeah.
So, like when you've got something like that, just to have a bit of camaraderie and a bit of chat over and bragging rights, it's worth a lot more than those of us mere mortals that just play it for some fun.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, even now, though, I think now, back then I was just kind of having fun with it. Now I think that we can officially state that I have a problem. Now I'm very, very, very bad with it. I was in multiple leagues last year. I mean, we'll get into that throughout the show, but it's now I've run a business centered around fantasy football. Before I was just, I'd pick a team, draft a team, and back then, you may or may not pay attention to it. Like really, like I was playing it, but I wasn't addicted. It wasn't until recently to where when starting the Rumboyz Fantasy Network, me and my former co-host, former co-CEO, Ty Boogie, we had started the Rumboyz Fantasy Network. We were sitting back, we were watching a game. Our friends were like, "You guys should start a podcast." And we were like, "You're right, but there's already so many podcasts out there. Like, what do we do?" And we're like, "You know what? Me being the bold person I am, like, we can do it. Like, no, we can really do it." He's like, "No, we can't. Like, no, we really can't." And I'm like, "Yeah, no, we really can." So we ended up using his basement as a studio for a while. And then that's when it really started, because I wanted to prove that I was better than everyone. I found out that there were people that enjoyed it probably just as much, just as high octane. I met you guys through Twitter and multiple other podcasters out there. And I think that's when I was like, yeah, I found home.
Amen, man. It's like the few have become the mighty just through the little networks that we have, and it's good fun. We're in like a bit of a smaller like network chat on Twitter, and there's some good old folks in there like the Fantasy Fam and Commish GMRA and a few other folks, because it's just like, it's all fun. 2-on-1. Shane Tommy's now sort of left that and doing something else, but like there's a good bunch of folks just like we bond, and then someone comes along and tries to like disturb it all. We're just like, nah, get out. We're not having it.
Yeah. I will admit I am a very rowdy personality in the industry, and I apologize for that. Y'all are my brothers, and I love y'all.
No, don't apologize.
Yeah, man, never apologize.
Yeah.
Especially with that guy. We had a guy who we kicked out of a group because he just kept telling people what to do, and like, "Oh, you didn't share my post," or "Oh, you didn't do that," and he kept trying to call people out.
It's like, hey, we're all businessmen here. Like, we all know how to run our business. Let us be. Like, we know what we're doing. We've been doing this for a while. Like, even if you just started, just go with the flow. That's my biggest piece of advice to anyone in the industry. Just go with the flow, move at your pace, and also at the same time, though, move at the pace of the market and move at the pace of the industry, but just get along with everyone and love everybody. And it's an awesome community. The fantasy football community is the greatest place single-handedly on Twitter, on the universe. And I think that I'm thankful that we have Twitter and that we now all have podcasts where we're able to connect and share our ideas. Because you guys made the Blockbuster joke, at the beginning. You go back a couple of years, we didn't have this connection. You were sitting back looking and wondering, are there other people like me that are into fantasy football?
Please be someone like me.
Exactly. And here it is, we're doing a podcast together. You guys across the pond in the UK, shout out to you guys. By the way, it is 5 o'clock somewhere. Cheers to me. Cheers to you, all the Rumboyz. Dude,
love
Dilly
that.
Dilly to the 5-yard rush crew. Thank you for having me on. But yeah, it's a beautiful atmosphere. And like I said, it's been a long time coming. I appreciate you guys. Almost 2 years now for having me on.
like we said, man, it's been a long time coming. Long time coming. So you said you weren't a Denver fan. Who is your team?
Well, as you see here on my beautiful coffee cup, I'm a Washington Redskins fan. For those of you guys that are checking out 5 Yard Rush on YouTube, which you should, and you should subscribe to their channel. And then after that, subscribe to mine. But yeah, I'm a Washington Redskins fan. I am from Southeast DC. I went to elementary school in Prince George's County, Maryland. Went to high school in Stafford, Virginia. So like I'm from that area that it courses through my veins. The good old Commonwealth. So yeah, I'm a Redskins fan through and through. My grandfather was a Redskins fan, passed it down to me. Yeah.
I know that area quite well, especially Northern Virginia. I've got family there in Lawton.
Lawton, nice. My grandmother lives in Lawton.
Ah, amazing. Well, I'm out there. Hopefully it's not all finalized, but I'm going to try and get up there for a weekend because I'm supposed to be going to New York in April. And if that happens, then I'll take a bus up from New York up to DC.
Nice. If you go to DC, you know you gotta holler at the guys out there. Riff Raff Commish. Who else is out there? I think Fantasy Wire's out there. There's a lot of guys out there.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to hit them up for the short stay over there.
There's so many. Like I've been asked multiple times through the group chat. Hey, Robbie, are you available for a beer this weekend? And then I look outside and I just see mountains, and I'm like, no, because I'm so far away from you that I can't even reach you. So yeah, it sucks. I feel like I just want to state this. I feel like I am the only podcaster in the Colorado area. You know, you look at all the other big podcasts; they're all in Arizona. You know, you guys have like, I follow 6 different podcasts from the UK, you guys being one of them. Like, I want podcast friends close to, you know.
There is
Sorry.
one.
At least one.
Who do we have on?
Who?
Locked on Broncos off.
Time Skew. I think Time Skew is from Fort Collins, but that's like 2-hour drive for me.
I don't think
This is bad, isn't it? Who does Locked On Broncos? Oh no!
Ah,
I should. How is this not rolling up the tip of my tongue? Like I don't know. This is poor.
Cody Rourke.
Cody Rourke. That's it. Cody Rourke. He must be somewhere near you.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to look him up. I'll have you guys hit up that connection. Then boom, you know, me and him, we can work together. You guys know I'm always down to work.
Defo. He's a cool bloke. He's a friend of the podcast. Cody Rourke. We'll get it back on at some point.
For sure. So you write about a lot of sports, podcast and YouTube about them all. What's your favorite? Football, baseball, basketball? Which one's your number one?
So as you guys have seen, you know, following me, I do a little bit of everything. But football is my baby. Football will always be my baby. I think a lot of times people get confused because at the Rumboyz Fantasy Network, we're a legitimate sports media company. I started this to be more than just a podcast. We commentate sports. We do play-by-play, player interviews. We have the podcast episodes. We treat it like we're ESPN. We're almost like ESPN almost. That was my vision coming into it. But yeah, there's not to get confused. It'll always be football as my passion.
Yeah, nice.
So that's where my heart would be if I did them all.
Oh, when I found out that there was that they created the XFL and there was going to be football during the off season, my face lit up like a kid in a candy store, if you will, because I was like, there was more. You know, there was more.
Did I win my matchup this week in the XFL? Do you know?
You were winning. I didn't see the final results. I mean, how busy you might have done.
I hope I did.
Get off Schneid.
Yeah.
Get off the donut.
It'd be nice to beat a team with stocks in the team name as well.
Yeah.
Ooh.
The quarterback that you did. I help.
Benched him last week. Didn't need the 20 points. Anyway. So
all's fair in love and fantasy football, ladies and gentlemen.
To be fair,
no, it's not.
It was only fair because Stocks didn't turn up for the draft.
Oh no! Whoa!
It's true.
I didn't turn up for the draft, but I did say I'm not coming.
Yeah, but you didn't turn up for the draft, regardless of whether you said beforehand.
I couldn't set a queue. It would not let me.
Yeah, but so basically, Stocks didn't have a QB
Because the auto draft on wherever it's from.
It's one guy.
Yeah, well, sort yourself out, pal.
It's the guy that does it. So anyway, Stocks didn't have a QB. I had two because I'm smart like that.
And greedy.
You could say greedy. You can basically say that I got sniped on my QB choice because I wanted to take Walker. And I got sniped and I was like, cheers, Ben. Thanks for that. So I was like, right, I'm panic stationed. I'm between two guys. I'll just pick them both. And that's basically what I did. So I picked them both and then was like, well, and then I basically decided which QB I was going to roll with going forward and was like, okay. And then you were like begging, please let me have a quarterback.
Yeah, that's exactly how it went down.
It's not fair that I don't have a quarterback because I didn't turn up for the draft.
It's not what I
See, even though the guy who was the 101, by the way, didn't turn up for the draft, and he drafted the Dallas D with the 101 auto draft.
Yeah, and then kicker with the
with the 208.
Yeah.
Some people still don't know how to play fantasy. Clearly, no matter how much we go on air and tell them, and it doesn't even matter. Like a lot of people are like, "Oh, I'm not gonna play XFL fantasy."
He wasn't there. It was just an auto draft. It's just for
I wasn't there for my draft either, and I'm gonna be honest. The exact same thing happened with me. I ended up with Nick Holly as my first pick. I was like, I did not want that to happen.
Oh, but that's not terrible. At least he gets points.
Yeah, but I mean, still, like, you know, I kicked myself in the ass for that one because I was like, man, I cannot believe I did not show up for a draft. It was Clock Management Fantasy Football that was running the draft. They threw me in the league, and I was like, I entered it last minute, and then I got caught up with my wife, and
I feel you.
That's fair.
I feel you.
Life happens, especially when you're running the business at the same time. Life happens. So I'm with you. It's okay. We're in this together. It's all good. Okay. I still don't have a QB because you know why? I have too much pride. And you guys know this from playing in a fantasy league with me. Like I'm like, nope, I'm not gonna admit that I messed up. Nope. Yeah, I know I may have drafted this wrong. Oh well. Like I'm in 10 other leagues, let this one tank. Like
yeah, I didn't even realize it was only 8 games as well.
Yeah.
I just before it's just as it's got warmed up, it's done. Like no.
Yeah. Well,
cheers.
Fair. At least I traded QB for. So I traded you a QB for a player who was injured.
Yeah.
A running back who's injured who might not come back this season.
Well, that was very, very nice of you.
Well, it's payback for the James Conner trade.
Yeah. Let's move on. So we just talked some XFL fantasy. How about we talk some real fantasy?
Real fantasy, yeah.
How'd your season go, bro?
It depends on which league you look in. We all know in the 2-on-1 league, I was mediocre.
Yeah.
I was very, very, very mediocre. I made the terrible mistake in that league of taking Geronimo Allison. That was a stupid decision. That's where it all went awry, honestly. There's a couple of decisions, but that's because I chose to manage a team with my co-host. That's the very first time that I've ever managed a team with someone else, and I'm letting everyone know, please don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. If you like control and if you know what you're doing, like, not to say that other people, the other person may not know what they're doing, but they may know what they're doing with what's best for them. You know, so I don't agree with owning teams together, but in that league I did terrible. But in all the rest of my leagues, I was a baller. Made it to playoffs. Let's see, 7 out of 10.
That's decent.
Made 4 Super Bowls. Ended up with 2.
It's a shame.
Yep. And then the Rumboyz Fantasy Network, as a staff, we house 14.
That's decent.
Look at these boys balling out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That 2-on-1 league's a bit of a sore spot for us because we kind of started really badly. Then we picked up speed, got into the playoffs, won in week 14, and then we bombed in week 15. And we put the highest score up in championship week to win the 3rd place playoff.
Oh, that's annoying.
Oh, I know. It's kind of like bronze medal.
Oh, the worst is when you outscore and you're sitting on the outside of the top two, the people that are in the championship, and you're sitting on the outside and you outscore them.
Yeah.
And you're like, that was the weakest matchup ever. Like, you two made it. You two made it. I was in the two. I was hoping that I was going to go 4 out of 4 in my championships that I made. I will take the 2 that I won. But at the same time, the 2 that I lost, what's worse is that I told, in one of them, I told the person how to beat me. This is anyone that runs a podcast out there, fellas, I'm sure that you can agree with this. If you have ever competed against a loyal follower, a loyal listener, that is the worst stuff ever. That is the worst damn thing that you could put yourself through, because they know everything.
Yup.
You're thinking. I literally I said here, and it's my fault, because I said, yeah, start Austin Hooper. Why did I do that? Why did I have to know what I was talking about?
Well, share it. You know, you could know what you're talking about, but you shared it.
Yeah.
It's my fault, but I did help. I want to shout out a follower. I did help Jimmo the Icon win a huge championship. Told him to pick up Steven Sims. Week I think it was like week 15. That I won him his championship. There was literally nobody on Twitter that were telling people to go get him. Like, people would have posted their polls and he'd be the lowest rated person. And I was the only person telling people to go and grab him. I go on air for like that whole week. That's all I'm preaching. Sure enough. Yup. Sure enough, he gets Sims. I'm like, bro, didn't I tell you? Didn't I tell you? Everyone that didn't pick him, they're like, how did you know that? I'm the analyst that watches film. I don't stare at the box score. That's why we do play-by-play commentary on the Rumboyz Fantasy Network, because I see things in the game, and also being a former player that other people don't. Fantasy football, there is a certain spot in fantasy football where fantasy does meet reality.
And there he is. You're looking at him.
Damn right.
He's in that. What's that thing they call with a pentamp? No. What do they call the 2 circles with the middle bit?
The like the diagram, like
it's 2 circles, and then where they cross over that middle bit.
Oh,
yeah, there's a teaser for you.
So someone's gonna comment underneath this video. They're gonna be like, "Look at these guys! Like, they don't know what the diagram is, but they can tell us all about fantasy football." And we're gonna be like, "Yep."
I want to say Venn diagram.
Venn diagram.
That's the name of the thing, and then it's another term that begins with V.
Yes.
Oh, no, I'm all out. I just got the Venn
I
diagram.
took AP statistics as well. Should know this.
There's me out there grafting copper pipe, and you're out taking statistics.
I was in high school.
Oh my gosh.
Credit.
Yeah. No. Still, statistics. They disappeared for me in high school.
Sometimes they work when it's statistics in relation to fantasy football. Sometimes they work. I see a lot of guys out there that they're big stat guys on Twitter. But I also see some of those same guys are the guys that'll complain about, injuries or overvaluing a guy. Or some of them are the same guys that overvalue a guy.
Yeah.
All the time. And they're repetitive with it. So you got to be careful. You got to be careful with that. I tell people all the time, film is your best teacher in fantasy football. Watch and watch and watch over and over and over again. And then after you watch, then look at the stats.
That's fair, bro.
Sounds like a lot of watching.
Yeah.
I also this is what we do for a living over here too. This is my 24/7 around the clock. So I mean, yeah, you got to. So we have the NFL Combine coming back up.
Mm-hmm.
That's about to be rigorous.
Yeah. There's a lot to take in there.
That's gonna be my morning watching on the way into work. Put that on the iPad. Just download it before I leave. Watch that.
Get that off Game Pass.
Yeah, I'll watch it on the way in. because it's on now. They changed the times. It used to be great when it was on like afternoon US time, and we could catch it after dinner and watch a little bit. Now it's on at like almost prime time, and you're like, yeah, I'm in bed.
Yeah, they moved all the skill positions to prime time, haven't they?
Yeah, they've also added new drills and stuff this year, so to factor in more of the RPO and
style of play,
those stuff. So there's a few more variances and a few more drills in there this year, which is
didn't know that.
Yeah, that's awesome. It looks
get your pen and pads ready, boys, because this year is not going to be like last year. This year, there's going to be a lot of note taking. Recommending this for every analyst now. You're going to see a lot of speed on the 40 times. You're going to see a lot of stock rise this year from these rookies. Sanault is a guy that I'm like, he's going to rise on draft boards. Here out of Colorado, I'm working really hard to try and get him on the show before draft day.
That would be sick.
Dude, working with these players is difficult. It's very, very, very difficult, man. But no, like I'm letting everyone know now. Come combine day, get your pen and pads out. It's gonna be intense.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. So how about we talk about some bounce back breakout players going into next year? Who are the top 3 players you think comes back in 2020 stronger after a disappointing 2019?
You know, that's a very, very interesting question. Just completely honest, because you have players that are coming back off of injury, especially when we look at just quarterbacks alone. Cam Newton potentially coming back. That's Carolina stated that they're going to commit to him. CMC being as explosive as he was, that could be a bounce back player. I feel like no one is looking at him right now.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to look out for that. I'm not saying go out and draft him, but I'm saying early waiver wire watch, hit that little watch list, little flag, because that's something to look out for. Let's see here. Comeback players. I'm trying to think just off the top of my head. Big Ben's coming back off of injury. He will be starting for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Expect maybe Juju to have a serious bounce back with his QB1 back underneath center. So I think Juju, you're going to be able to buy 4th, 5th round. 5th round if you're playing against guys that are like just willing to let that keep dropping. But like 4th round if you're against guys that are going to buy high on that stock. 3rd round.
I don't see him falling past the 3rd. I just think there are too many people. That narrative is too easy to spin that someone is going to take Juju in the 2nd, 3rd round in most drafts.
Right.
I think people are just prepared to write it off, and I don't hate it. I just don't love it. I don't think it'll be me buying at that price.
I'm not going for Juju personally, just because of I'm a big risk assessment type of person. To me, there's too much risk assessment in terms of being possibly re-aggravating an injury. That maybe there's just too much time apart for them in terms of chemistry in regards to Juju. So I think that affects where I would draft him. Maybe it's 3-4 weeks into the season before they finally get the chemistry back moving together between the two of them. And I don't want to sacrifice those 2-3 games when I can maybe go out and get a more secure wide receiver one. Maybe I go running back receiver, or maybe I go running back in the 3rd round. Instead of going Juju, I go, Kenny Galladay's going to come back off of injury.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I go there. I don't picture Kenny Galladay re-aggravating his injury, really.
Do you know, I saw a thing that said OBJ's current redraft ADP, I know it's stupid early, but is the 403?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm buying at that price.
But you think that's too rich?
I think it is for me.
I'm
not tying. I think the truth is out on Baker Mayfield. We
you.
talked about Baker Mayfield on this show a couple of weeks ago, and I said to you that he has had one game of 25 points or more in fantasy football. Now, I appreciate that there's things that correlate into real life, but ultimately what we're not seeing from Baker Mayfield is 350, 400-yard games. And when you've got, he has a clear relationship with Landry. And I think they're two, I don't think Baker Mayfield is in the same class as, say, Jameis Winston, where he can support two wide receiver ones or even two wide receiver. I mean, he got two wide receiver twos last year.
Would you not?
Do you know what's crazy? I will second that take from the film side. Baker Mayfield, one, we don't. Here's why. I'm worried about drafting an OBJ, even a Landry. Baker throws his receivers into really tight windows. Coming from someone that's a receiver that's small and fast, I don't want you to put me in a tight window. We saw what he did to David Njoku last season. You know, we saw how many balls were out of reach for OBJ last season. If you can't throw OBJ open, I'm all out on the Browns, their quarterback and their receivers. The only piece of the Browns that I want is Nick Chubb. So I completely agree with your take there. I agree with the Jameis Winston take as well. Jameis Winston, he may throw 30 interceptions, but you're correct. When we see on film, that offense is built to where it can support two wide receiver ones.
100%. And the other thing with Baker that I've noticed from my limited experience of watching film is his feet just don't look right.
Oh, God, it's awful. It makes you want to throw up.
Yeah, when he goes to throw the ball, he just doesn't set himself. It's the way that he...
It's the back foot.
Yeah.
It's the back foot. So what he does is he exerts too much pressure on the back foot, and then he uses that back foot to put too much the kind of put force through the follow through kind of on that right side. And what that does is that's why he's overthrowing open receivers, you know, or even overthrowing 7s through 9s. Those routes are routes for a receiver like OBJ. You should be dropping dimes in the breadbasket every single time. That's not happening for Baker Mayfield. It's because of his throwing technique. And if I'm the Browns, I'm looking for a new quarterbacks coach to fix that. But until that happens, and we do not know if there being a new quarterbacks coach at this time, I would educate everyone to probably stay away from that whole passing game scenario, unless it's the backfield.
I mean, the thing is they had a really good one on hand last year offensive coordinator in Todd Monken. Todd Monken's worked with some excellent quarterbacks over the years and has schemed great offenses. We saw what he did the year before in Tampa, where it didn't matter who the QB was, whether it was Fitzpatrick or Winston. It was aggressive. It was high yardage. Yes, there was errors. A lot of that is timing. A lot of that is rhythm from disrupting your quarterback week to week, or shuffling and changing. But ultimately, when you look at the Buccaneers were able to get men wide open downfield. I mean, the amount of times we saw Evans or even Adam Humphries out of the slot was getting huge wide open channels to run into. And the thing is that when you've got a guy like that on your staff who has been a former head coach who in college has run a high-powered offense, has worked with some excellent coaches, and to not even be given a sniff of the offense, that's just a worrying sign around. And hopefully the Browns can take a step forward. You know, they got Pat Sherman there now running the offense, and maybe that will change. I think it's
Stefanski. Yeah, Stefanski.
Yeah, so Stefanski's head coach. Pat Shermer's there to run the offense, and maybe Shermer, because the one thing that Shermer does do is he does get a good balance between a rushing and an air attack. Like, they will get opportunities to get the ball downfield. We saw it with Daniel Jones last year. Daniel Jones, definitely when he was allowed to let rip, he let rip. Yes, he turns the ball over a lot. He's a rookie. It's understandable. But ultimately, forget the quarterback under center and you look at the play designs. I do think that the Browns will progress from what they were last year, but I just don't think Baker Mayfield is a 4,000-yard a year guy yet. I'm not writing him off long term, but I think there's other stuff there from the mental side. I think he's also got to work on. He's got to be knocked down a peg or two in my book personally. But I don't think I'm buying OBJ at 403. I think 5th round is where I would start to potentially nibble, but I don't think
exactly.
I don't think before then.
At 403, he's tempting. At 403, he's tempting, but it's all dependent on the type of player that you are, and then also the flow of your draft. You know, if you went and you got, let's say, I don't know, just for shits and giggles, let's say you start off with Zeke at the 3rd pick, you know, because we're picking from the 3rd. You got Zeke, and then in the 2nd round you got what would be another running back there that in the 2nd? Chubb. No need to go and get or you went Zeke, Chubb, then you need a receiver. Trying to think who would be there in the 3rd.
Well, let's just say Juju because we were.
Mike Evans will be there in the 3rd.
Mike Evans, yeah, because I think Godwin will go over Evans this year.
100%.
Yeah. So let's go Mike Evans right there. Just you know, for talk. At the 4th spot, maybe I could justify that. Okay, now you need another receiver to double down. But then if DJ Shark's right there, Cortland Sutton's right there, I think I might take Cortland Sutton over OBJ.
100%. You're talking about players with upside. I don't see where the upside is with OBJ. You got to remember that OBJ hasn't been a wide receiver 1 since 2016. I mean, he was the last time he was a wide receiver 1, he was outscored by Jordy Nelson. That's sort of how far we're going back. Doug Baldwin was a bloody RB1 that year as well. So I'm just not buying the ceiling on OBJ. I think he's fine. I think you're looking at, if you told me right now he's probably going to go somewhere between wide receiver 15 and wide receiver 20 overall. That's kind of where I sit him in that sort of pack. And you think, okay, he's probably a safe bet for that range. But I'm with Robbie here. I'd like an upside guy who's going to be in that range, but might jump up with big weeks. So Cortland Sutton, DJ Chark. I think there's guys that will take huge strides this year. DJ Moore, Calvin Ridley.
Yeah.
I think these are all players for me. I'd be looking at taking over OBJ because I just think they're going to offer you more.
AJ Brown, Debo.
Yeah, yeah.
Give me any of those. I'm just hopefully OBJ doesn't go back watch that segment right there. I still like to interview sometime.
Yeah, it's turned into the OBJ hater section, so we better move on.
Listen, look, I'm also on board now. You know, with you two's telling me that I just thought it was a low ADP, but then I suppose.
But it's name value, isn't it?
Yeah, that's exactly it.
It's name value.
It's all it is. It's like when we took AJ Green in the 8th round of the draft last year. We took him because it was like, it's AJ Green, it's the 8th round.
Yeah.
I mean, it was silly in the end, but
that's one of those things that's one of those things that you know, so many people, they like, I'll get DMs from followers, you know, do you really want me to start DJ Moore over OBJ? Like, I got that question so many times last year. I'm like, yeah, I'm literally telling you to do that. Should I really start Terry McLaurin? Yeah, I'm really telling you that, but he's a rookie. I don't care. I want you to win so that you can tell your followers that I helped you win. And then they would be like, yo, I can't believe that you were right. It's what I'm here for.
Amen.
Yeah. Okay. Name value. That's what we need to drill into people. Don't draft on name value.
Yeah,
God.
I think we do it. I think we talk about it every year. There's always
you guys definitely do it. I remember when I first started listening to you guys that you guys are very, very thorough. Very thorough. I think when I heard, I can't remember which one of you. I think it was you, Murf, or maybe it was Sox. Let's see, 30 to 40 leagues last year or something like that.
Well, that was like joint. That was our.
Okay.
Yeah, so we both did. So I ended up in 36 leagues. It was 40 overall, but I only drafted in 36. 9 chips.
Holy shit. I can't believe that. That is crazy.
Yeah,
that is
25% strike rate. We'll take that.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
Take the 25% straight rate on that one. Yeah, I mean, don't forget, some of those were Like one of them was a best ball, or a couple of them were best balls. So,
Right,
whatever.
ships to ships.
No,
bro.
non-title.
Yep.
Ones we didn't win were like best balls, SFB 9.
Yeah.
We didn't win stuff like that, but we did win.
We could have won that.
We won in a lot of different formats. That was, I think, what was pleasing for us.
That's more exactly because now you can talk on those different formats from a more experienced standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Coaching giving fantasy advice, coaching someone through their playoff journey is significantly different than all the advice that you gave them to get there. They're two totally different worlds because the starters are now getting sat, so, hey, I don't know if you're going to play Lamar Jackson this week, hey, I don't know if this is going to, so now you're having to tweak a lot of things. Yeah, let's go ahead and let's start Ryan Tannehill instead of like Lamar. Yeah, exactly. Like it was coaching someone through a playoff journey and coaching someone through to a fantasy championship and through that championship is significantly different than everything, at the beginning. So, I mean, congrats to you guys. I mean, nine chips in-house, no telling how many countless others that you help others outside with. So I love that, man. That's great.
Well, you got a few to add to that. I had 9.
I had 7.
We had some of those with Co.
Yeah, well, yeah, so I had... How many co did we win? 3 or 4?
2, 3.
Yeah, so I had 4 solos and then...
4 solos, 6 solos. So
yeah, we did all right.
Yeah,
that's good, man. That's good. That's what's up. That's what's up. I like it.
But we're it's gonna be tougher this year.
Please.
It's gonna be tougher this year.
It's not over 50%. I think I might walk away and say I'm not good enough.
The only reason why I feel like it's going to be tougher for all of us this year is this rookie class is so offensive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Last year we had a defensive rookie class, so it was easier to predict and project a lot of different, things. This year, the scouting, like I said, pen and pad, start February 27th, pen and pad by your side and watch as much of the scouting. Fantasy football starts February 27th.
Amen. That's today.
Well,
as this drops.
Yeah.
As this drops. Yeah, correct. Sorry.
Oh, that's cool. No, well, we just mentioned rookies. How about we talk some draft prospects?
Absolutely. I'm down. What are you thinking?
Well, anyone really. I mean, you mentioned my boy LaVisca already.
Yep. Sonal LaVisca, obviously. I am torn between Lamb and Judy.
Yep.
Who I want as rookie wide receiver 1. I am highly known for drafting rookies, rounds like 12 through 14, is I'll pick like 1 or 2.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys aren't going 12 or 14. No way. I think
you said what?
I think you're going to have to reach to the 8th to get them.
Oh,
I think they're going to be 8th, 9th round. Maybe even higher. It's hard to tell, but
because they're not drafted yet. They're not drafted yet. I mean, and we don't know how much their stock is going to rise yet. So I mean that right there, kind of, I'm torn between Jonathan Taylor and Dobbins are my 2 running backs. So I'm just like, yo, I really like these 2.
I love. Well, Murf and I were both massive Taylor fans, aren't we? And then
yeah,
I've got a soft spot for Dobbins because he won me my first college fantasy football title with him in it. So wherever he lands, I'll draft him. But I do draft slightly too much with my heart sometimes. AJ Green.
There's nothing wrong
How
with
many
drafting
leagues did I try to get you off him as well?
I know, but we didn't draft it. Oh well, I drafted him in a couple more places. I mean, I've even put this.
Look, there's nothing wrong with drafting with your heart. I'm still the same person that, like, if AP is still there at the bottom of a draft, I will waste a draft spot on AP. Like, one, I want someone from my team. I want a Redskin on my team one way or another. And if I don't get him in the early rounds, then I know for a fact I can guarantee that I'll get him later on.
Yeah, Trey Quinn was our guy last year from the Skins.
Yeah, our late round steal.
We just bought him everywhere in the final round.
Okay. Okay, Trey's all right. Treyway's all right. He just needs to. They need to give him more opportunities out the slot, is what it is.
Well, I
Maybe
thought
Rivera
he was
does
like
that.
a target monster. It sort of looked that way to begin with, and then he got hurt, and then never
Yep.
fully recovered, and it kind of went a bit.
It is what it is. But yeah, I mean, so there's nothing wrong with drafting with your heart. And there's also nothing wrong with, like, if you're a fan of a team, going to get a player from your team. Like, that's the fun in fantasy football. Sometimes people do get too serious.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you went and you were like, I'm going to get Cortland Sutton. Like, yeah, I'm not gonna hate on. Like, I get it. That's, you're a Broncos fan,
Or Joe Flacco, he's
No, he's done.
Whoa.
He's done. Might as well
Drew
draft Eli
Lock.
Manning.
no, he's definitely done. Come on.
Oh, we spoke about bounce backs. Hey, sleeper QB Drew Lock. Just saying.
No, my boy.
I don't really like the term sleeper QB because
There's no such thing as a sleeper anymore,
Well, there's this thing as a sleeper QB because you draft him so late anyway. But
or not. at
That's
all.
true. That's
Anyway.
true.
Daniel Jones, my boy, that's the one. If you're gonna take a sleepy super flex QB,
I'm out. I'm out on Daniel Jones.
Fight.
No, listen. Daniel Jones is someone who is he's someone in a super flex. If I'm drafting really late and I'm just gonna let sit,
You can't see Robbie, but he is.
Daniel Jones is someone that it shocks me, like, to say it, and I didn't believe it, but looking through so much stuff, I just think there's really room for him to put up some big fantasy numbers.
This man. All right. So first off, Daniel Jones, I want to let you know I love you. You're excellent. You were one of the only rookies when we had interviewed the 40 rookies that had let us, keep our spot on line. Like, you didn't cut in line. I met his family. His family's super respectable. I love all that stuff off the field. But on the field, Daniel Jones, from the moment of snap, you just bobble that ball a little bit too much and put it on the ground a little bit too much for my liking. My good friend Adam Rank, he is high on Daniel Jones as a quote unquote sleeper QB. I'm not going on there and saying it. Nope. Nope. I don't like Daniel Jones as a sleeper QB. I can't fathom it.
When I say sleeper QB, I'm saying, like, not that I think there's a sleeper QB, but if you're asking me, right, to look at QBs, here's where it gets interesting, right?
Shut
So here are the QBs I would take Daniel Jones over purely for upside, thinking about what the ceiling is compared to what the other guys are. Tom Brady, Kirk Cousins, Jimmy Garoppolo, Phillip Rivers, Derek Carr, Ryan Fitzpatrick, because I don't think he plays 16. Jacoby Brissett.
I need a
Gardner
beer. I
Minshew.
can't do it. I can't do it.
All
I
day
can't
long.
do it.
I'm telling you now, the only QBs I'm struggling to put over him that finished above Daniel Jones is Jared Goff and maybe Baker.
I am not taking Daniel Jones over Kirk Cousins. Tom Brady, yes. And that's still dependent on where Tom Brady goes. I would still probably take a 40-some-odd-year-old antique version of Brady than Daniel Jones. It's just that Daniel Jones is just too raw for me. He's just too raw. Like, it's not a perfected project yet. And then now you got Jason Garrett, and we all know they're just going to run the ball, kind of what they did last year. And even when they tried to run the ball last year, Daniel Jones would either fumble at the snap or either fumble in his way towards in the handoff to Saquon. I can't do it.
So here we go. Kirk Cousins last season. Kirk Cousins last year. Games where he scored over 25 fantasy points. 2. Daniel Jones. Games where he scored over 25 fantasy points. 4. Games where Kirk Cousins scored under 16 fantasy points. 8. Games where Daniel Jones scored under 16 fantasy points. 6.
I get that. I absolutely, positively understand that. But once again, The film is too ugly for me. The playing style is too ugly for me.
It's
just too
ugly.
raw.
I'm not tipping him to win an MVP here. I'm just saying that
I know.
He's going to be less trash than other QBs.
I can't. I don't know. I'm known for being a Daniel Jones hater. On all phases. So I don't know. I just could never fathom it. Like if Daniel Jones is sitting there and he's on my draft board, like I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
That's drafting with your heart, man. You got to draft with your head. I'm telling you now, Daniel Jones, QB1, 2020, book it.
Look, Robbie, I don't know whether you heard this before, but Murf said he would trade his mother in fantasy football to win a ship. So
100%.
there's no heart over there. There's no heart in Murf's fantasy football.
I can trade back for her after I've won it.
No one's going to trade you your mum back. She's going to be worth way too much.
If you're not looked at the size of me, people will do as I tell them to do.
Okay. This is very true.
We're so revisiting this later in the future. Like, I can't wait for this season to start.
Hey man, this is it.
This is gold right here. We're gonna have to clip this, and this is like the promo for this episode, like right here.
It's not even my hottest take of the year either.
Oh my gosh, Daniel Jones 2020. All right,
QB1. As in, like, he'll finish in the top 12. Yeah, not that he will be the QB1.
That's ridiculous.
I could see him finishing at 12.
At
12.
That's enough. That's QB1.
Ding, ding, ding. We have a winner.
Yeah, I think he finishes somewhere between 10 and 12.
Oh, God.
Small window.
So they've already got Robbie up to 12. He was absolutely hating. He's like, I can now see it at 12. So you just need to move him. I basically moved him from like 24 to 12. Now I just got to get him from 12 to 10, and I'm in business.
He's gonna finish his beer, do another shot of rum. He's gonna sleep a little, and then Daniel Jones 10 in my rankings. Boom! You have it on 5 yard.
Oh my gosh!
Got you. Listen, Robbie, bro, this is.
I'm gonna be thinking about this all day now. By the way, I'm gonna bring this up on my show that I'm filming. It's gonna be live today when we're filming this, right after. So. Feel free to tune in. I'm bringing this up. I'm like, did you see yourself drafting Daniel Jones?
In a super flex league, I can see myself late drafting Daniel Jones. I see me picking up Daniel Jones off the waiver wire around weeks 2 to 4.
Give me Daniel Carr or David Carr. See, you got me there. You almost made me say, give me David Carr over Daniel Jones as my QB2.
No, you can't have David Carr. The dude doesn't play football anymore. You can have
David Carr
or Derek Carr. Sorry,
saying David. The guy doesn't play ball anymore.
David Carr was a great prospect.
Look, I just showed my age right there. That was the age. Absolutely
killed.
Texas killed
just for the record, so I named some stats earlier. Derek Carr, 0 games over 25 fantasy points last season. He had 10 games where he scored under 16 points. I want absolutely no part of Derek Carr.
No, that's not true. I want the place where he's playing. I want to go to Vegas.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, for sure. So come on, Robbie. This has been an absolute pleasure, man. Why don't you tell Rush Nation where they can find you and your stuff?
Absolutely. Make sure you guys check us out on YouTube, Rumboyz Fantasy Network. You see it there on the shirt, where we help you figure out why the rum is always gone. Once again, we cover player interviews, play-by-play of all of your favorite sports, betting analysis, debates, you name it, we got it all. We're a very chill environment. Check us out on rumboyz.com, and you can follow me on all social media at Rumboyz, spelled with a Z, N-E-T.
There you go, Rush Nation. It's your boy, Robbie.
Definitely check him out. Follow him on Twitter. Follow them on Twitter. They're a great follow. They post a ton of great content, all the links to all their shows. So when we tweet this out, it will have a link to the Rumboyz on Twitter. Definitely follow them because awesome. We retweet loads of their stuff because it's awesome. Like, love watching it. And also, I have to say, their stream, I've not watched all of it, but I watched parts of it, of the coverage of the Fury Wilder fight was class. It was really, really good. I watched that alongside the actual fight.
Fire.
It was awesome.
I like that.
I appreciate that. That was intense. Congrats to the UK for Tyson Fury win.
Kings of boxing.
Absolutely, I agree. That was my pick, by the way. I predicted that. You can go back 2 months on my show. So for even more reason why to subscribe, I predict things very, very well. Predicted that 2 months ago, and if you guys had listened, you bet on that, I'm happy that I could help you win.
Definitely.
Well, Robbie, it's been 2 years, but let me tell you, it won't be 2 years till the next time. That's for sure.
Absolutely, because I'm gonna have you guys on our show sometime.
For real. So cool. Well, we will chat down the line, Murf. I'll catch you later in the week. Rush Nation, as always, don't forget, keep rushing.
I can give him my paycheck. I'll give him my game check. He makes it.
Hold your breath. Ball is spotted. The kick is away. And the kick is... It's gone!